Hey guys, so today I wanted to hop on here and share some information with you that I was able to learn this week. I think a lot of what I do and what I've done over the years is be a student, and in being a student, I then learn things that I'm able to teach to others, and that I think that's my history in yoga, is this lineage of passing on information through the student-teacher relationship. And so I wanted to come and share the wellness tips for today from something that I personally experienced this week and learned about. So I participated in the Resiliency Summit that was organized by Ashley Turner. She is a phenomenal teacher. She's a psychologist as well as a yoga professional, and she really blends yoga philosophy and psychology so well. And I've learned so much from her. Actually, I've never met her in person, but I've done so many of her online trainings and summits, and this one did not disappoint either. So it was a Resiliency Summit, brought together tons of professionals in the field of psychology and yoga, and spoke to lots of different factors and things that we're facing right now during this pandemic, but in the light of how do we build resiliency, how do we cope, how do we manage, and how do we adapt in this situation so that we come out on the other side transformed and kind of seeking new opportunities in the situation that we're in now. So I got a lot of different insight and facts, but one I wanted to talk to you today about was Terry Cole's discussion on relationships. So Terry Cole is also a psychotherapist and kind of a leader in the field of women's empowerment. It was the first time I heard her speak was during this Resiliency Summit, but I've now looked up her online, and she is a wealth of knowledge and resources. So if we didn't give you anything else today for Wellness Wednesday, I think just having those two resources for you to go and look up are two things that could be really helpful. So looking up Ashley Turner and all her resources in regards to yoga, psychology, and Terry Cole as a resource. And I'm going to share one of the tips that she shared in the summit with you as a way to relay student information to others and now become the teacher. So one thing that I'm definitely going to incorporate into my own conscious relationships is this idea that right now, as we are sheltering in placing or quarantining and we're with our partners and other people in our family, is to really be clear in our boundaries and set up rules of engagement. So life is a little different, and so we need to be able to discuss this with our partners so that we can set clear boundaries and expectations among each other so that we're limiting the amount of conflict and resentment that happens. So some of the suggestions that she made in regards to rules of engagement is thinking about your space. Can you find designated space so that everybody has their own and that they feel like they have personal time to be able to do the things that they need for self-care, for work, and just their personal time? So what's your space going to look like and that time? Maybe it's dividing up time together. And one big one that I think is just beautiful and that I would really like to incorporate is this idea of division of labor. So thinking about all the things that you're responsible for, all the things your partners are responsible for, all the things that we're responsible for as a household, writing them down, and then figuring out who is going to do those. And those physical things, like the things that every day, like washing the laundry and doing the chores, but also the emotional labor. So who is keeping track of the social interactions? Who's keeping track of being in touch with relatives? Who's keeping track of all the school responsibilities that may be different now that it's online? So not just physical things that have to be done, but also the emotional labor that's in that. So being able to clearly define who's responsible for those. And it sounds like a simple exercise, but something that I don't think we all do. And so I think that my tip today is to share with you some information that I just received, and that's come up with some rules of engagement during quarantine. Talk to your partner about what things are going to look like and clearly define who's going to do what and what each other can expect in those situations, and then hold each other accountable. She also mentioned that there's a lot of love in respecting our relationship as couples, and then also being on our own and kind of that there's a separateness in that. And I loved that. So this idea that when the other person maybe isn't fulfilling their end of rules of engagement, or they're having a moment where maybe they're a little distressed and not reacting the way their true nature, that you can kind of stand in your own and be able to stay grounded and not react to that, and let them have that experience and be able to really respect each other as a couple, but not take on the distress that they're feeling. That I can stand in my separateness of that, and that their reactions, their emotions, and their experiences are not a reflection of me. It's not all about me. So I think that those are just some helpful tips that I learned this week, again, from Terry Cole, psychotherapist, and Ashley Turner brought together and was the host of the summit, that allowed me to be able to learn from so many people. So look them up, check it out, and start to explore ways to adjust and adapt your relationships during this time. Hope you all have a great week. Look forward to seeing you soon.